Hi, my name is Liz Schulteis, and I'm the Education and Outreach Coordinator for the KBS LTER, or the Kellogg Biological Station Long-Term Ecological Research Program. And today I'm going to talk to you about an efficacy study that we just completed on one of our education programs called Data Nuggets. And Data Nuggets are free activities. They were developed in collaboration between scientists and teachers, and our goal is to bring contemporary research and authentic data into the classroom. And so data nuggets are designed with a few key principles in mind. The first is we use science storytelling, which means that our goal is to reveal who it is behind the research and the data that students are working with and really share the story of the scientists themselves. And then we want to base all the data nuggets on cutting edge research that's ongoing and are answering questions that scientists are still grappling with today. They also all include authentic data sets, which means that we use true data from research. We try to highlight things like messiness and complexity that are found in these data sets because we want students to really see what scientific data looks like and what the purpose of exploring the unknown is. And LTER data makes it a particularly good data nugget because these data sets are really long-term. They tend to have high variability and these long-term patterns that only reveal themselves over time. And so we really like to show students that this is the importance of long-term data, that you don't see these patterns emerge until you've done a study potentially for many years. And then finally, data nuggets all engage students in science practices, meaning that instead of getting lectured to in their class, they're actually doing the work of scientists. So they're asking scientific questions, they're answering those questions using data as evidence, they're graphing, and then they are constructing explanations, meaning they're using data as evidence to support claims that they're making. And so we hypothesize that those mechanisms are what would be driving improvements for students. So we think that students who are using data nuggets are potentially going to have more interest in science, be more motivated to pursue science as a career, be more engaged in their science classrooms. And then we also think along with all those interest improvements, we're going to see improvements in their quantitative reasoning abilities, which means their ability to work with data, to think mathematically, and just use data and numbers in their everyday lives. And so anecdotally from teachers who had been using data nuggets with their students, we heard that students might be improving in these areas. They said, oh, my students saw that the scientist was a woman and it really resonated with them. They didn't realize that women could be scientists. And now they're more interested in pursuing science themselves. Or, oh, my students, now are more comfortable graphing and using data to construct graphs and know how to label axes and draw scales on their graphs. And so we had heard this information from teachers, but we wanted to conduct a study to figure out if this was really happening. So we partnered with BSCS in Colorado, and we conducted an efficacy study across 22 high school biology teachers with 44 classrooms in our study. And so we had teachers who taught the same section twice use data nuggets in one section and then pair that with a business as usual. So they would just teach how they normally teach in one section and then add data nuggets in their other section. And the beauty of data nuggets is that they're all really short. So you can probably complete a data nugget with 1 to 2 class periods. So teachers could sprinkle these throughout their curriculum without really getting off pace between the 2 classes. So we compared the gains of students in those 2 environments, and we found basically every student in our study got better at graphing, got better at the basic quantitative reasoning skills like doing some simple calculations and working with data. But we saw a couple key differences for the students who use data nuggets. So first, we found that students who use data nuggets had greater interest in STEM careers. So potentially this is because they're seeing scientist role models, they're learning who does science. And so now the idea of a STEM career is a little demystified for them, and they're more interested in pursuing one themselves. They were also more confident in their ability to do science and work with data. So we saw gains in self-efficacy around data tasks. And then students also were better able to construct scientific explanations. So again, that means they were better able to use data as evidence to support claims. They're more likely to correctly answer the scientific question. And then they were better able to reason, which means that they could connect why their data supported the claim and bring in scientific concepts to build their explanations. Also, compared to business as usual classes, students who were in data nugget classrooms spent about twice the time engaged in science practices. So data nugget classrooms were about 23% of the classroom time was doing the work of scientists, meaning asking questions, working with data, constructing explanations, reading scientific text, and less doing other activities like lecture. So to build on our findings, we have a current collaboration with Auburn University and Project Biodiversify. And our goal for this study is to figure out the role that scientists' role models play for students within data nuggets. So in our original study, we just used data nuggets in their entirety with all the elements present. And now we're going to manipulate how much students see about the scientist role models in the activities to see if that makes a difference. So are students still going to get that boost in science career interest if they don't see a scientist, if they just see a photo of a scientist, or if they get a lot of information about who that scientist is? And so we're manipulating elements like that and seeing if it is what's controlling our impact of data nuggets on students. So stay tuned for more results from that study.